Soul, a podcast for a better you. Your host, Steve Hudgens, is a licensed professional counselor. On a non-emergency basis, you may contact them at area code 918-280-8690 or coachsoul.com to provide them with new topics, feedback, or to request an appearance on the show. And now, here's your host, Steve Hudgens.
Hey, welcome back to Coach Soul. Oh my gosh, Kenya! It's the day after Christmas, and are you going to return any of your gifts, or you plan on keeping what you have? You know, a lot of people go to the stores to return.
You know, I have never been the kind of person, unless it truly doesn't fit. It's not because I didn't like it. I don't have 3, 4, a backseat full of stuff to return, and never had.
I've never returned anything either. I've always enjoyed what I've received for Christmas. It comes from the heart, you and I have been talking kind of off mic. It's the day after Christmas. Now what?
Now let's delight on this abundance. That's really the topic I want to bring to the listeners today. Before this podcast, the latter podcast, we talked about the gift of you, the gift of giving, you being the most treasured element, resonance in this world. And we have here just a few days for the beginning of the year. And a lot of people, and the older version of you, of me, I'm talking me, certainly showed up in this way that was excited, but at the same time, I didn't see my life as abundant. So now I want to take advantage of this energy to address the lack. So in this podcast, I just want to pre-frame that I want to address the abundance. We just received so much. In spirit of Christmas, in spirit of family, in spirit of possibility, I want to address abundance.
I think that's a great idea. And because of where our society is, that things are coming to a screeching halt. I know several people who are in the retail industry, and they're telling me things are coming to a screeching halt for them. And so it's easy to focus on the negativity of what we don't have, the fear of what we are not going to be able to get because shelves are empty or not enough money in the bank. So I know sometimes we focus on the abundance of materialistic things, and I'm getting a sense that that's not where you're going.
No, but it is a reflection.
Yes. So talk a little bit more about that reflection of abundance.
Well, what you just said, if I am here focusing on feeling in my body the fear of the lack, what if I go to the store and there's no milk for the kids? What if I really need some medicine and it's not there? Just the sentiment that what if creates the thing. See, the way I want to invite us to see us today in the spirit of family is that what if we are truly one? That means that if I have and you don't have it, then now we have half, because I will share. And I'm not just talking about a piece of bread, which means can I really hoard enough for the entire world? No. But in a spirit of love, in a spirit of family, I can always add love, excitement, possibility, vision, dream. And the word says, without a vision, a man perish, a woman perish, the person, the being perish. So if we don't have a vision, if it's all about this stuff, it's all about the little mice inside, the tingling, I'm going to go back to work, and there's this drag. You are not creating abundance. You're creating lack. I don't care how rich you are, how many gifts you received, how much you can buy at Costco, Sam's, Kroger, Publix, whatever you shop. you're not in abundance. And I want to offer this idea here, which it is true, but it's only true to you if you accept the belief that you create, you generate, I generate my own abundance.
I want to try to chime in for a second because when I think about abundance, sometimes how we think or perceive abundance is not the norm to the way we think. And here's where I'm going to go with this. I remember during COVID, you remember those shelves that were empty of toilet paper and things like that, and
Absolutely. It
people
was
were
crazy.
hoarding. It was
Mhm.
crazy. And it's funny because I'm going to tell on myself because this is how to address our thought processes and how we look at abundance. So I'm shopping in Walmart. Now, I only need a few groceries because it's just me.
Mhm.
And I do have a package of toilet paper at the house, unopened. And I do have several rolls ready to go. But I'm passing the area of dead zone. I mean, no paper towels, no toilet paper, no napkins. And I'm thinking, okay, I've got to go grab some. And I'm like, wait, Steve, hold on. I'm allowing what I see to entertain my mind to tell me there's no abundance of anything. So I have to go get. No, Steve, I have plenty. I will be okay. I'm an Army veteran. I know how to wipe my behind in the wilderness, so will be okay.
Gosh, I love you. Isn't that the truth? So listen, what I hear you saying is for a wink of second, the sentiment of the environment had you.
Yes, totally.
The fear came to visit. The scarcity is like, what if? Oh my
Right.
gosh, if that's what's happening, then I'm going to need it. This is exactly how we create.
Yes.
So as humans, as monkey minds, as this is what I call the one consciousness. This is what I said. I create my own. I might not have enough bread, physical material things for everyone to have dinner, for everyone to have, but I can lift you in abundance. And you just know that I will, not you, but humanity. That's what I call lifting consciousness to a sentiment of completion. You're whole, you're perfect, nothing's missing, you're not broken. And the reflect that is peace,
Yes.
presence. Maybe peace is too big. Presence. You're here now. You're okay.
But how tricky is our mind? Our eyes trick us into thinking that we don't have enough. And it feeds into little child wounds that growing up, sometimes we didn't have enough. And it exasperates. It just really irritates that little child saying, you're not going to have anything. So you have to go out and do things. And to have a positive mental health is to do a brain check, to reflect. Where is my abundance? Where does my abundance come from?
Well, Steve, I want to invite the listeners to think
Sure.
about this exercise as lifting 100 pounds. Do you start by lifting 100 pounds?
No, you got
If
to
your
start
goal,
small. Yeah.
exactly. So the small here is, would you please be open to the possibility that you generate everything? And in this conversation is abundance. So if I generate abundance, just the thought of the awareness, when I look in the mirror, do I now train myself? Because I do. This is where I started. Okay. I never have been fat one day of my life. And prior to this exercise, I never felt that I wasn't fat. I had this fat cell ingrained in my subconscious mind because just the way I was raised. And I don't want to get into details and Brazilian culture, but specifically my mom in her own wounds of what a beautiful woman is and what size it is. And so I would
Mhm.
look myself in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, this. And I was like, I see the pictures. I was just so perfect. I was so cute. I was so beautiful. And I never felt that way. I was abundant in my beauty, in my youth, in my heart, in my knowledge. It's all abundance or lack, your thoughts. So the exercise, the baby step to the 100 pounds of complete freedom that you can shift within seconds, like you shift in Walmart, at Walmart, is to right now, as you listen to this, what's right in my life?
Mm. It,
What
it's
am
a
I abundant
check.
of? It's a check, but it is
It's
a
a
habit.
checklist. Yes.
It's not a checklist of to do. Please, Miss and Mr. Perfection out there, type A, please, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not
Right.
adding to your list. I'm adding to your heart.
It's
Your
a
heart has always been,
self-awareness.
it's a self-awareness, it's a self-realization that nothing is missing. And if there's one thing or two that trigger the wholeness, the abundance for you, surround yourself with more of that, please.
Oftentimes we think about where we are, and then because of where our thoughts take us, they can either uplift us or they can discourage us.
Destroy. Mm-hmm.
It's where you put yourself in the moment. I think of the Jewish Holocaust, of the terrible tragedy. And that's those words can't describe the horrificness of what they went through. But
No,
many of them made it through with abundance of joy and hope. And one comment that I always remembered when I studied was, hope is something you cannot take away from
never.
them, only
You can
if
take
you
away the
allow it.
clothes, you can take
Yes.
away anything from the outside.
So
You have to
abundance is
decide to
within.
die. You have to decide that it's over.
Right. So when we think about that piece of the Stark of history, when we are in disparity, because this is the season of depression, because of winter is here, you got the winter blues, those type of things. It's just not colorful. The sky is gray most of the time because it's going to snow or whatnot. And when you get into these stark moments, like today is dark, and how can our listeners be able to pull out of the funk
Mm-hmm.
of this stuff to be able to realize that they can have abundance even in a dark situation?
So I invite all the mothers right now to tap into the love for your children. And all the parents, all the men to tap into the love of his children. And if you are not a parent, tap into the person that you love most in life. Maybe it's a wonderful aunt or a grandmother or your dog. Who do you love most in life? And just answer that question with the feeling of, if that person needed me, how would I show up for her, for him, for that beautiful creature full of love, our puppies? And put the mirror on you and treat yourself that way. That is the number one abundance. That you feel like whatever hole it is inside of you, of loneliness, of darkness, it is actually a shadow of self-love unmet, waiting for somebody from the outside to point it out. That is your greatest abundance. And I go a
Expound
step
that a little
further.
bit.
Yeah, and I go a step
Yeah.
further. To get to that point, you must believe that you are a son and a daughter of God. to get to that point, you need to see yourself with godly DNA, and that you create because God creates. You get to co-create with God and massage your heart and believe in your wholeness and believe in your beauty. There's nothing missing. You are abundant. You are created by greatness, for greatness. It's all in you. It's all in me. And it might be as simple as your favorite mist in the air to trigger the most wonderful memory of childhood. Mist, your favorite essential oil, your favorite fragrance, or it could be your favorite picture, a place that you have just been that has just triggered this abundance, the abundance in nature, the abundance, because we are not separate. It's an illusion.
So one of the things I want to interject here for a second here, can you? Because I have a heart of the passion for those who don't believe in God, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And because of the Christians who have really misspoken judgmentally, that people are going to hell, that you're sinning, that it's so
I'll
much
go one step
negativity.
further. For the people that call themselves Christians, which is followers of Christ, but actually was not following Christ in love at all.
There you go.
That
Thank
was
you for the clarification.
misrepresenting.
Yes.
Just misrepresenting.
And when I think about when we say that we're daughters and sons, a lot of people think, well, I have to be the right frame of mind before God accepts me. And that's deception. That's not full of
Do you
abundance.
have to be in the right space of mind for your father, for your mother
Right.
to accept you?
That's exactly where I'm going with that. A lot of times we trick our minds trick us. So it's about learning how to manage our emotions with our mind. Our mind is stronger than our emotions if we can train it to be. And from there, we have the heart of abundance. There's so much that we can enjoy, and being able to go back to, even when we talked about the last podcast about giving. It's not the art of giving of a gift. It's what's in the heart of the abundance that we can offer that other person.
100%. And maybe today, my invitation, because I know we went in depth, not down. This podcast became much more rich, much more in depth, very fast.
It did.
Listen, listeners, I love you so much. Here's the clarity. We love you so much. Here's the clarity. What if the abundance that I'm inviting you, that we're inviting you to look at it today, is just the thought, to let the thought visit you,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you can put it in your mouth and practice. I am abundant. I am so grateful for, and pick up one thing if three things is too much. My nose, my friend Carla, my son Noah. I am so grateful for being alive.
Mm-hmm.
That abundance, you see, abundance is just like any other frequency. It will spread when you call in more of, or it will shrink when you stop. And let me tell you what the words of staying in gratitude and staying in acceptance and staying in abundance and staying in love, just by choice, just by speaking. You sent me a video that was so mind-blowing, because I'm actually studying other languages right now. Mm-hmm. Based on a new friend that came to my life. He's just such a genius in Aramaic and Greek, and just like blowing my mind with the origins of words. So in this particular video, this person was saying that, the word and thought actually means the same thing. Mm-hmm. So listeners, when you think abundant and you speak abundance, you generate the frequency. Forget the word frequency. Think red. I'm wearing red. If you're generating red and now you're surrounded by red, you start seeing more red. I'm just helping our human to translate. Let's translate that to material life.
It's
Forget the
funny
word
that
frequency.
it's funny you share that, because I'll do a quick quip it. A friend of mine was talking about she pulled in the wrong bay to fill up with gas. And I said, don't your gas thing tell you with an arrow which side it's on? She goes, no. And so I
Mm.
started driving, looking at cars, because she told me one car didn't have, it was on the opposite side. So here I am all of a sudden in my mind, seeing all these cars passing, and I'm looking for a gas tank. So
And
it's the
now it's in
same
your
thing here.
awareness.
Yes, awareness. Yes.
Yeah. So would you dare to just open up, since you're already open? We are in family mode, in Christmas
Mm-hmm.
mode, in cleaning up and cinnamon and apple pies, flavors, smells. Yes, I am abundant. This is delicious. And whatever you sit to eat or to speak, enjoy it in the spirit of fulfillment, in the spirit of being present, and practice that. See if your body feel more relaxed or not. My hallucination is that you even see some pains starting to dissipate because you'll be so present
And
and
what
loving
Kenya's
life.
talking about, and to help it to relate it a little easier, we have an expressway out here that gets really congested. And I don't like driving in congested. And this is when I used to work downtown in Tulsa, and I would drive on what we call the BA Expressway. And I'm talking bumper to bumper New York traffic, but still kind of going fast. I noticed that prior to me having EMDR, I would get anxious about driving.
Wow.
And I noticed my hands would be tight around the steering wheel. My legs and my shoulder begins to begin tense. When I started noticing my body doing that, I started practicing. Steve, take a deep breath, relax. And as soon as I took notice of that, my body relaxed. So a lot of times what we have to do in thinking abundance is doing the same thing. Talk to yourself
Yes.
and be aware.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you were getting to in talking about bring it to the forefront.
Always. When I am speaking, I'm creating.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, more space in my shoulders, please. Open my heart, please. I'm feeling a little tight. Feeling a bit lonely. Okay. Call a friend. Be in stillness. Journal. Listen to uplifting music. Think of what's right in your life. Expand from that. Stack in what's right versus what's not.
What's funny is that we get into this fast track of life and we become so reactive that we forget to be proactive. And to live in abundance is about being proactive.
Proactive in receiving.
Yes.
Because what my alpha brain just heard is that can go either way. Proactive means doing more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And could it be the proactivity of receive your deservingness, your worthiness, and start feeling it as such?
When I think about being proactive or reactive, when I talk to my clients, they'll say, well, I need to control my life. And I'm like, well, hold on. Let's challenge that thinking for a moment that we need to control. When I think of control, I think of a firefighter. A house is on fire, the bell goes off, the firefighter reacts, jumps in, starts controlling the fire because it's being reactive to the situation. So they're trying to control. Being proactive is that you're already living life, but you're doing things in such a way that prevents a fire. It's like a forest firefighter. He's going to clear out the brush. He's going to clear out the dead wood. Oh my gosh, how many dead thoughts that we have in our mind that we need to clear out, that we're not enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's being proactive. So it
Yes.
doesn't prevent a fire.
So I
Start a
love
fire.
that. And thank you for explaining, because the thought that came to my mind is leadership. And that's a whole new podcast. Are
Right.
you leading your life? Are you living your life as a leader or as a victim?
Mhm.
Are you living your life as a leader? I'm the creator. I am at choice. I have choice all times. I create my opportunities. Right. The other day I had this huge, beautiful expansion moment. It was like, oh my gosh, my clients don't pay my bills. I pay my bills. There is no energetic pressure on having more clients so that XYZ can be met in my life, because then I'm giving all the power to them.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times I did that with my husband? When he shows up, blah, 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 then I can blah, blah, blah. When the kids, blah, 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 then I can. And I'm like, I created this unfulfilled rat race, trapped that was powerless, victim of my own life. And if you relate, if you relate to this is huge.
Mm-hmm.
If you relate to what I just said, and you're like, okay, how may I lead my life? Great. You already accept yourself as a leader. We can grow and expand and create from the thought that you accept your leadership, because being victim might not feel good, because it doesn't, but it's comfortable. It requires you to step out and change.
But that's difficult. And that's a great way to end this
That
podcast.
will be a great podcast. Yeah.
Because what we're going to do next, because it's coming up to New Year's, everybody makes these New Year's resolutions and think that everything is going to be so wonderful from last year. What a great way to end this segment, Kenya. So I look forward to our podcast of next week, of talking about that leadership and being able, how do we manage our life, not control it, but how can we manage it more effectively? And right now, let's live in this abundance. Until next time, we will see you next year.
I'll see you next year.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope to have you back next week. Until then, be safe and be kind.